Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling in the dead of night, your mind racing with thoughts you can't silence? Maybe it's regret over something you said. Maybe it's anxiety about tomorrow. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a feeling you can't quite put into words. An unease that keeps you restless while the rest of the world sleeps. You're not alone. There's a reason God designed sleep. Rest is not just a physical need, it's a spiritual gift. But so many of us struggle to receive it. The tossing and turning, the late-night worrying. What if these aren't just natural reactions? What if something deeper is at work? C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Relying on God has to begin all over again every day as if nothing had yet been done. And that includes the night." Lewis understood something profound. Nighttime is when the enemy whispers the loudest. It's when our defenses are down, when we're alone with our thoughts, when the worries of life wrap around us like chains. But what if you could sleep like a child again? What if you could lay your head down and actually rest, knowing, truly knowing, that God holds every moment, even the ones you can't control? Before we step into this life-changing revelation, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and affirm your faith by commenting, "Lord, I lay it down." Your words have power. This simple act is a declaration of trust, a reminder that you are ready to step into the peace God has for you. And if you truly seek the kind of rest that transforms your soul, stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear might change the way you approach every single night. Let me tell you a story. A man named Elias, an ordinary believer, found himself caught in a cycle of exhaustion. His days were busy, but his nights? Torture. He'd close his eyes only to relive old failures. The moment he drifted off, his mind would remind him of unpaid bills, unfinished tasks, and the people he'd disappointed. He prayed, but his prayers felt empty. He read scripture, but his eyes blurred over the words. "Why can't I rest, God?" he whispered into the darkness. And then one night, while reading through the Psalms, he saw something that changed everything. Psalm 4:8, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." Safety. Elias had never thought of it that way before. He thought he needed solutions. He thought he needed reassurance about the future. But what he really needed? To feel safe. And that's when he realized his restless nights weren't just about his thoughts. They were about trust. He was trying to carry tomorrow on his own shoulders instead of surrendering it to the only one strong enough to hold it. C.S. Lewis would say that faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. Nighttime, my friend, is when moods change the most. When fears grow larger than they really are. When lies sound like truth. But what if you flip the script? Instead of seeing nighttime as a battleground for anxiety, what if you saw it as an invitation? A moment when God whispers, "Lay it down. I never asked you to carry all this." Jesus himself modeled this trust. Do you remember the storm, the raging sea? The disciples panicked, convinced they were about to die. And what was Jesus doing? Sleeping. Not because he didn't care, not because he didn't know the danger, but because he understood something they didn't. His Father was in control. And that's the challenge for you tonight. What if, instead of letting fear be the loudest voice, you let faith have the final say? Comment below, "Lord, I lay it down." If you're struggling with sleepless nights, I want to pray for you. Let me know in the comments, and together we'll step into the kind of rest God designed for you. Elias couldn't shake the thought. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Not his ability to fix things, not his ability to control tomorrow, not even his ability to silence his own thoughts. It was God alone who made him dwell in safety. That night, for the first time in years, Elias did something different. Instead of letting his thoughts spiral, he made a decision. He would surrender. Not just in words, not just in a hurried bedtime prayer, but in his heart. Every worry that came to mind, he whispered to God, Lord, I release this. One by one, as they surfaced, the fear, the regret, the unknown, he handed them over. Not because he felt at peace, but because he was choosing to trust anyway. And in that moment, something happened. It wasn't magic. It wasn't immediate. But there was a shift, a quiet assurance, a presence that settled over him like a warm blanket. And he slept. See, this is what C.S. Lewis understood so well. He knew that real faith isn't built in easy moments. It's built in surrender. Daily surrender, nightly surrender, and most importantly, surrender even when we don't feel like it. Lewis once wrote, "The moment you wake up each morning, all your wishes and hopes for the day rush at you like wild animals. And the first job each morning consists simply in shoving them all back, in listening to that other voice, taking that other point of view, letting that other, larger, stronger, quieter life come flowing in." But what about at night? That's when the enemy attacks the hardest. Have you noticed? The regrets feel heavier. The fears feel more real. The future seems darker. Why? Because the enemy knows that if he can keep you from resting, he can keep you from trusting. Look at Scripture. Every time Jesus speaks about rest, he connects it to trust. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. Not, figure everything out. Not, work harder to earn peace. Just, come to me. Jesus doesn't just offer rest, he is resting, and yet, so many of us struggle to receive it. We hold on to our burdens like they belong to us. We replay conversations. We plan for every worst-case scenario. We live as though we have to control every outcome. But let's be honest. Has that ever worked? C.S. Lewis reminds us that faith isn't about feeling secure. It's about choosing to believe even when we don't feel it. Because faith isn't a feeling. It's a decision. And if that's true, then maybe restful nights don't start with finding the perfect routine. Maybe they start with surrendering control. Because look at Jesus. When he was in the storm, he slept. When he stood before Pilate, accused and beaten, he was calm. When he hung on the cross, he gave his spirit into the Father's hands. He didn't cling to control. Why? Because he knew his Father. And that's what's missing in our restless nights. We say we trust God, but deep down, do we really? Do we trust him enough to sleep, to rest, to believe that he is working even when we can't see it? Tonight, I want to challenge you. When you lay down, don't just say a quick prayer and hope for the best. Do what Elias did. With every thought, every worry, every fear, whisper, "Lord, I release this." One by one. Let them go. And if you're struggling, let's do this together. Comment below. Jesus, I trust you. If you need prayer, let me know. I'm here, and I want to stand with you in faith. Because tonight you don't have to fight alone. Something shifted in Elias's life after that night. Not all at once. Not like flipping a switch. But slowly, night by night, surrender became a habit. Every evening as he lay in bed, he whispered his worries to God, one by one, releasing them like a child placing their hand in their father's. And something incredible happened. He still had problems. The bills didn't vanish. The future didn't become any more predictable. But the weight of it all, it lifted, because peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of trust. C.S. Lewis understood this deeply. He knew that faith wasn't just about how we live, but how we rest. He wrote, "God cannot give us peace and happiness apart from himself, because it is not there. There is no such thing." Let that sink in. The peace you're looking for? It's not found in perfect circumstances. It's not found in getting every answer. It's not even found in figuring things out. It's found in Him. Maybe that's why Jesus said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." Matthew 6:34. Because He knows us. He knows that we carry things we were never meant to carry. He knows that at night our minds run wild, grasping for solutions, for clarity, for control. But control is an illusion. And here's the truth. You are not holding your life together. God is. So tonight, let's make a choice. When the worries come, because they will, don't wrestle them. Release them. When anxiety creeps in, whisper, "Jesus, you are my peace." When your mind tells you that you need to fix everything, remind yourself, "I was never meant to carry this." C.S. Lewis had a habit of reminding himself that faith is not about feelings. It's about choices. So will you choose to believe that God is in control? Will you choose to trust Him with your nights? Because here's the reality. If you can trust God with your eternity, you can trust Him with your tomorrow. Let tonight be different. Don't just lay in bed hoping for rest. Step into it, breathe deeply, whisper His name, and let go. If this message spoke to you, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Tonight, I choose peace. Let's stand together in faith. And if you need prayer, let me know. I'm here for you. Rest well, my friend. God's got this, and He's got you. This next video is handpicked just for you. YouTube knows you'll love it. Or dive into this C.S. Lewis playlist for even deeper wisdom. And hey, don't leave without subscribing. Your journey has just begun.